Good morning, guys. I hope you enjoyed yesterday's video about how I start the meal prepping process. Today I wanted to just dive into one part that everyone should be doing this week, since we're really focusing on the nutrition and kind of setting things up this week. Of course, you're doing your workouts too, but we really want to make sure that you're set up right for success, because starting on Sunday, I'm going to be asking you for your meal plan, so heads up. Be working on it. And then next week, we're really dialing in the nutrition for the final 2 weeks of the challenge. So the one thing that you can start doing now, which is something I do at the beginning of every challenge, is just reevaluate my pantry. And when I say pantry, cupboards, anywhere where you're hiding crap that you can eat. What I do is I go through and I make sure that everything that's in there, they're things that I actually need. Our old house, we had a really big pantry area. And one thing that I noticed was that we seemed to hoard things like crazy. So the first thing I did when I was doing a pantry checkout, and still here that I do, check every single canned good item. If you have a lot of canned goods, for the expiration dates, make sure that anything that's expired is gone, that you throw it out and get rid of it, because that's not healthy for you and it's holding up space. And it may tempt you to eat it, which in turn could lead you to get sick if it is really, really bad. So you want to get rid of anything that's expired. Any cans that are dented or opened, or just boxes that are open or slashed or whatever. You never know what could be getting in there. I'm always very cautious about those kind of things. So start there. You may have been neglecting your pantry for a while, so don't be hard on yourself if you have a lot of stuff that needs to be thrown out. You don't have to tell anybody in this group. If you've got something from 1989 in there, it's okay. But you want to make sure it's cleaned out for your own health. So the first thing I want you to do is just evaluate and look for those kind of things. The next thing I want you to do is start looking for the foods, the little calorie friends that are hanging out in there that are going to do nothing but cause temptation and problems throughout this challenge. So let's kind of break down what some of those would be really quick. Number one, anything that's processed. I know I say that and you're thinking, well, no, I can keep some of this stuff around. But be honest with yourself, because I'm going to be honest here with me. If I have Twinkies in there, or I have chips, anything, really anything. I have a major sweet tooth. I am like a garbage disposal. I like anything that is not good for you. If I have it here in the house, on those days where I'm feeling sad or whiny, or maybe it's that time of the month and I'm like, let's eat everything. But hey, let's get real here. Beachbody coaches are real people. Just because we are coaching and helping with fitness, we still like crap. And if it's in our face, there are moments of weakness we all have. And I like to eliminate that right now. Yes, I have plenty of healthy versions of things that I like to eat that are great, but sometimes if that stuff's around, I'm going to go to it. It's just the way that it works. So you want to make sure it's not in your house and you don't buy it. So the rest of this challenge, I want you to make a really solid effort to not go and buy those things when you go grocery shopping. When you're getting your meal prep items and you're walking by and you see Chips Ahoy are on sale 2 for $4, I don't want you to feel like you need to get 2 of those because $4 is a great deal for them and you got to have them. Just say no. Just say no and make a healthier recipe instead. I'll give you some solutions for it. So go through your cabinet and see what kind of items like that you have in there that you can possibly get rid of. Now, I'm not about throwing everything out. I don't want you to be wasteful at all. But if there's foods that are hanging out in your cabinets, in your cupboards, that you know there's no way you're going to eat, and you know they're not going to work into any food plan, then donate those. Go to any kind of shelter nearby you, any kind of drop-off location or church that has maybe a food pantry, and donate that to somebody else. Because I know when I first went through my pantry, I had so much, like so many pastas and things that I was like, I know I'm not going to eat these, but I didn't want to throw them out because I felt like that was wasteful because I'd spent money on them. So I donated them and then I felt good about that. So help somebody out with that. If you've got things you want to donate, do that. Now I know what you're thinking. I've got a family and I don't know how I'm going to make this work because my kids love cookies. Well, try some other recipes. There are so many recipes out there, and I've got plenty of them too that I can share for things like healthier chocolate chip cookies or peanut butter cookies that when you make them, they think that it's still a treat and it's not. And joke's on you kids, or my husband, because I do it all the time to him. But find a healthier way. Kids will eat what you put in front of them. So will husbands, typically. So if you are worried about your family and purging things that they're going to eat because they don't want to get on this wagon with you when it comes to eating healthy, start making small changes into what you have in the house and what's available, because the kids are going to go drive to the store at 11 o'clock at night when they want to have a snack of cookies. But if there's a healthier option there, they might start gravitating towards it. You'd be surprised how often when you're providing healthier options that they end up going that way and choosing those over the healthy versions if they have a choice down the road. In the beginning, it might not be easy, but you want to at least have healthier options for them. Just to jump on a soapbox really quick, because I feel like I always need to say it, 70% of Americans are obese, which is very disturbing to me. And I know it starts with our households. So if you are feeding your kids fast food every single day, that is a trickle-down effect that's going to keep happening, and it's going to have that number increase. There's ways that you can provide a healthy lifestyle for kids, healthy snacks, and one of those is getting rid of the garbage that's in that pantry. One thing that you can do if you have kids and you have people that really like sweets, and they, regardless of what you do, they're going to want them in the house, is figure out some way to have a system in place so that they can earn those treats. I'm not a big fan of rewarding people with food. I believe that's for dogs, not for people. But if you have a child that's maybe struggling getting homework done with being back to school or doing chores, then that might be a great way to reward them with it is, hey, if you get this done, then I'll allow you to have this snack tonight or something like that, and have some of those things on hand for them. Just don't have as many as you may have now. Like at one point when I started this journey, I had like a whole cabinet, kind of like Seinfeld did, of sugary cereals, because that was one of the things that I was all about. And that was the first thing that had to go, because that was where I would gravitate to, is this sugary cereal. There were like 12 different boxes there at all times. So look at what you have going on there. Limit the amount that you do have if you have it. And then really focus on bringing in fresh things or things with expiration dates as you move throughout the rest of this process. I'm going to upload here in a little bit a little cute graphic that's going to break down some common pantry items that you should toss and some possible alternatives for them. And I want you to take a look at them and hopefully start revamping that whole pantry process for you. Remember, temptations are everywhere. You've got to be strong enough to get past them. And sometimes in the beginning, it's difficult to do that because you're still trying to figure out this whole meal prep system. It's a lot in your brain, I get it. That's why this whole week, I'm really focusing on kind of my process when I'm getting started in the beginning, because I want you to really put time and energy into it. Hopefully by now you're starting to look for a meal planner. You're starting to get some ideas for meal prepping next week. Tomorrow I'm going to be sharing a video breaking down the entire meal prep process that I did for this week's meals. So some tips on some of the recipes that I did so you can kind of see how that works. But I want you to be focused, because before you know it, the weekend's going to be here. And if you're doing it where you have a system like me, where Fridays I'm planning, Saturdays I'm shopping, Sundays I'm prepping, guess what? It's going to be here before you know it. So I want you to really put some time and energy into it so next week you have the most success as you possibly can. So go check out your pantry right now. What I want you to do after you do that is, on a scale of A, B, C, D, F, like in school, if I was to come over as a teacher to your house right now, what grade would I give your pantry and why? And just share whatever you want to share with us. You don't have to tell us if there's a ton of things, like I said, that are totally expired, but be honest about it. What all is in there and what would I grade you at? Side note though, as you're grading yourself, I want to walk you through my pantry so you can see what I have in my house right now, because I think it's only fair for me to do that and share with you so that you know what the person that's talking the talk is doing. It's also walking. So welcome to my pantry. I'm going to walk you through some of the things that are in here. Like I told you before, I'm really big on things that go bad. So expiration dates, things like produce, dairy, protein. I don't keep a ton of stuff in this pantry. The things that I keep in here are just the things that I kind of need sometimes for baking, or random things that I don't use all the time. Even my husband, he does his own meal prep, he's got his own system going on. I don't mess with that. He has some stuff in here, but not a whole lot. We do most of our stuff fresh. It's in the refrigerator. At the end of the week, our refrigerator is completely empty. So let's flip around and check out this pantry. Okay, let's just start from the top up here. Clearly the top row, not much going on up there. We have a George Foreman grill in the event that our grill breaks, and then my food scale so I can measure things out. But this particular shelf here, this is where I keep some of my baking items and my seeds. Now you're gonna see here that I've got my favorites. Sunflower seeds, honey roasted sunflower seeds. We've got Truvia in the back. I have Truvia in the event that I need some kind of sugar that I don't like to use regular sugar. Obviously, anything that's white is not ideal for you because there's typically a lot of things there you don't want to have. So I try to eliminate having that around, but sometimes you got to have sugar. I always have here flaxseed and chia seeds. I love to throw those in my shake. They're great to have on hand too in case you want to put them in your oatmeal. I put the chia seeds in my overnight oats. Guys, these here, I get those actually from Aldi, so they're not very expensive and they're great. Those would count as your orange containers if you're doing a 21-day fix. Over here I have my flour section. Now I use a lot of garbanzo and fava flour. In here is almond flour, and then I also have in this bag coconut flour. So this is all Bob's Red Mill. Those are gluten-free flours. Marks, if you have a Marks nearby, that's great when it comes to getting a variety of flours, but I use those in place of just a regular flour, and then I also always have whole wheat flour, which is somewhere back there in the back. Another thing that I always have is this bad boy, coconut oil. You never know when you're gonna need it. I cook with it, everything that's gonna count as a teaspoon for the fix, so make sure that you have that handy. Coming down to this shelf here, you're gonna see, Yeah, we don't have a ton of stuff, so I'm actually kind of proud of our pantry. I don't keep any crap in the house like Doritos, you know, Ho-Hos, those kind of things. I do enjoy those very much. But I always have whole wheat seasoned panko crumbs. Those are really great when it comes to making meatballs or even a light breading. Always go with whole wheat. These tortilla strips are not mine. I can say proudly they're not mine. Nor would be the instant oatmeal in the back. The cacao nibs, I love those on top of my shakes. These are great. Just a little bit of extra chocolate if I need it. Of course, some basic baking things. You've got to have cocoa and you've got to have baking soda and cornstarch and that stuff. Always have the regular oats as well as steel oats. I use those as a mix when it comes to making my overnight oats or any kind of oatmeal bake. Steel cut obviously are better for you because they're ground finer and they just are a little bit healthier in that aspect. But oatmeal is a really great solid breakfast staple if you've got to have it. And then over here I've got some of my vinegars that I have rice vinegar that I use all the time for my chicken salad, fixate chicken salad, extra virgin olive oil, soy sauce, no sodium, dried blueberries I get to put in my overnight oats. That's that. And the bottom row down here, we really don't keep much in the way of carbs in the house. So when you're looking here, we've got, my husband likes this roasted chicken rice. It's so gross. But I always have a box of brown rice, Fit and Active, favorite brand from Aldi's, of course. Once in a while, I just need to grab a granola bar, and those are my favorites, and they're pretty good for you too. I always have in here, when you see me talk about wheat thins, that's actually these. Sandwich skinnies. They're whole wheat and they're thin. They count as one yellow, 90 calories, again from Aldi's. Clearly I love Aldi's. So that's a place that I go and get those for my breakfast sandwiches and those kind of things. Kyle likes the whole wheat bread, so this is his. And then these are my other favorite things that I always keep in the house for chicken salad wraps or anything else. Flat outs. These come, you can get them at Giant Eagle, but they come in a variety of flavors and stuff, so you can have those handy, last quite a while. Obviously got coffee in there. And then the dog food, which we're not touching down there. So that is my pantry.